Saṁyutta Namo Tassa Bhagavato it is not a way of the Buddha saying that where you have to be or giving you an option. Yes.
Bhante, sorry to interrupt. Your internet bandwidth,
Uh-huh.
maybe it's mine, I'm not sure. Is other people noticing that?
No, no, it is mine. This over
Oh,
here, the internet is very bad.
okay.
Because I don't get, I get zero this thing. Uh, Bars over here. So mobile is not there. The Wi-Fi is very slow. So we have to kind of manage in that. Okay. So I'll start once again. Okay, from here. So this sutta is from Saṁyutta Nikāya. It is 11.11, chapter 11, sutta 11. It is about determinations or what you call dithana, or we can say vows one takes. So this is a story or information about what are the vows or the determination taken by Sakka, who is the king of gods or of the Tavatimsa. So how did he reach there in that position? So that is the sutta about. Savatthi students in the past, when Sakka, lord of the Devas, was a human being, he adapted and undertook 7 vows. By undertaking which he achieved the status of. So that is that one thing is clear that whatever Devas we are talking about were previously humans. So one of those things repeated by many without any kind of relationship with us. But over here, it is very clear by the Buddha that they are humans who, when done good actions, reappear as devas. So, and link with human actions and the fruit as a deva is kind of very clear when the Buddha is talking in this sense. So, what were the 7 determinations he had taken? As long as I live, may I support my parents. So that means that one first thing he said was, I will support my parents as long as I live. Buddha has many times said the importance of having parents, because without having parents, you are not able to take the life of a human. And if you are not able to take the life of Dhamma or an opportunity to attain awakening. So that is a very important part that faith in the Buddha or the Dhamma or Sangha. So they should be given a good path, or they should be taken to a good path. And by that measure, you can repay your parents. And then there are some other saying is, you should establish them in Shila. You should establish your parents in Shila. Also, you should establish your friend, means your parents, in generosity and in wisdom. So your parents, you can repay by making them go into the good path, by having them develop faith in the Buddha, Dhamma or Sangha, establishing virtue in them, establishing generosity in them, and establishing the aspect of for 100 years and roam around, even then you cannot repay the parents' debt. But you can repay the parents' debt by taking them to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and establishing the faith in them. So that is what the Buddha is saying. So that's a very important factor. As long as I live, may I respect the family elders. So the respect which is there is very important in the teaching of the Buddha. So who were the family and blessings the monks give in Thailand is Abhivadana Siddhi Sanicca Buddha Pachaino Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvanno Sukhan Balang. That means that when you take care of your elders, you respect your elders. There are four things which you get. Ayu is long life. Vanno is beauty. Sukha means happiness. And Bala is health. Strength is also one of the things we understand as, but that is health. When you have strength, you have good health, you have strength. So that is, you have good health. So you get a long life, beauty, and sukh and health. That is happiness and health when you take care of your elders. So that is an important factor the Buddha is talking about. So he has taken up the determination that as long as he lives, he will be respectful to the family elders. As long as I live, may I speak gently. So this is also important that whenever are speaking, these are the four rules of this precept which are for right. What are the four? Second is that you will not have divisive speech. Third is that you will not have harsh speech. So you will speak gently. So you will not speak harshly. And fourth is you will not use speech, wasteful speech. That is like gossip, frivolous speech, which is not important, gently. So one thing he is saying is, I will speak gently and I will be gentle with anybody who I meet. As long as I live, may I, and you have to speak in a manner that you don't create enmity between two groups. You, if the group is in together, you split. So that is divisive speech. That speech which is considered to be more harmful for them who accept it and then divide themselves because of that speech. What is the stage of stinginess? Means you are always trying to kind of be very frugal with your money. So Buddha says that if you have money, then it is okay to spend it on yourself also. It is not just about generosity. It is also about yourself. If you have money and you are not using it for your comfort, the Buddha is giving an example. Say if you have a bullock cart which has covered sheets, and you are going in the afternoon, which is the summer sun is there, and you are going in the middle of the day, but you are walking behind the cart. So then that does not make any sense, the Buddha says. If you have the cart and you have that means, then you sit in the shade, comfort for yourself. So then that is the first thing is you with a mind devoid of stain of stinginess, then freely generous, open-handed, delighting in relinquishment, devoted to charity. So then one is that you spend what is required yourself. One of the things the Buddha is saying that first you spend on yourself, then you spend on your children and your spouse, then you spend on the community. Whatever community is there, you whatever has to be done for the community, you give to the community. Then you give to the king also. That is the taxes. Don't skip on the taxes. Give the taxes what is due to the king. Has to be given to the king. And then you have money, then you can also do charity. That is, you give to the Buddha disciple, which is called the Sangha. You give to the Sangha, and that has the highest merit one can accumulate. So then you have to be not stingy in that sense, because there is one again and again is when the gift was times he was the richest man in the kingdom, but at 12 times he could not have a son to give this wealth away. So then that wealth which was accumulated by him had to be taken back by the king. So that's also one of the things the Buddha is saying, that you have to give delight in the relinquishment. So when you are giving, you have to be happy with your choice of giving. You have to delight in it, and you have to be devoted to charity, delighting in giving and sharing. So he is delighting and giving. So it is a happy mind. So you take care of yourself, your immediate relatives, and when you are giving, you give with a mind which is free, and that is also an aspect of the right speech. So not to lie, and the most of the lies which we speak is to ourselves. So that is the reason Bhante said the harmonious communication. So what communication we do to others and what communicate we do to us. So we should not lie to ourselves also. There are a lot of times when we are lying to ourselves. You have to not lie to yourself or lie to your anybody you are speaking to. That is the sixth rule. The seventh rule is, as long as I live, may I be free from anger. And if anger should arise in me, may I dispel it quickly. So the Buddha says that there is no emotion in the universe which has caused more harm than anger. There's no emotion which has caused more harm than anger. So that's very important. So all the wars which are there, all the kind of killings which are there, most of them have happened because of anger, because they were angry and they did this act in harsh. Many of the things which are there is done in anger. There was a case where in Wat Papong, the chief monastery in Thailand, there were two monks, Thai monks, who were arguing, and one walked away, and the other was chopping wood for the making a robe, dye for the robe, and he had this axe in his hand. And then he just threw the axe in anger. In the split second of anger, he just threw the axe, and that axe landed on the back of the other person, and he died immediately. And this guy was disrobed because that is a parajika offense. He was immediately disrobed, and police action was taken against him. So the anger was just like that, a split second of anger, which was there, and he had an axe and he just threw it, and it was end of his life, end of his monk life, and maybe the next life which is uh, uh, being reborn is in many lifetimes of good karma he must have accumulated to be a monk, and then he just gave away in a split second. So that then what the Sakka is saying that if anger should arise in me, may I dispel it quickly. So if it arises, I let it go. So Buddha never uses words very casually. He does not use harsh words, but he said that I give permission to kill. Only once I give the permission to kill, and that I give the permission to kill is anger. When your anger is arisen in your mind, I give you permission to just kill it then and there. So that is how the Buddha going and explaining that how harmful the anger can be. That if it arises, then just kill it, immediately kill it, the anger, and don't let it kind of rule your mind, because a moment of anger can destroy many lifetimes of accumulated good actions which you have done. So that has to be very much important. So the seven things which he took a vow, and because of which the merit which he accumulated, he was born as the king of the gods as Sakka. But I think this advice is based on the time when it was not a Buddha era. So there, the vows of alcohol is not there over here, or intoxicants. Only that vow of alcohol or intoxicants is there when the Buddha is there, and Buddha is giving the understanding that you should not kind of spoil the tool with which you are dealing with the world. The tool is your mind. And when we put intoxicants in ourselves, then we spoil the tool with which we see. So in that sense, I don't think, and this is my personal opinion, that drinking is not a moral precept. Drinking or the precept of intoxicants is a practical precept, because in practice, all the precepts can be broken of somebody who is drunk. He can lie, he can kill, he can be intoxicated. So it's a practical tool. And then when you are using certain intoxicants, it changes your chemical structure in your mind forever. And then what happens is, whatever actions you are taking, that actions will not be made by the tool which is there. Say if I have this phone and have this phone camera which is there, and I put some dust on this camera, then will this take a good photographs? It will not be able to take good photographs, because why? Because it's tool which is there. It is the lens which is there that has been spoiled. So in the same way, our tool is our mind. And when we kind of use intoxicant, we kind of spoil the basic tool which we are using and interacting with the universe. That is the main point. I think this is a summary the Buddha gives about the sutta. So I'll just read the summary. In the past, students, when Sakka, Lord of the Devas, was a human being, he adopted and undertook 7 vows, by the undertaking of which he achieved the status of Sakka. When a person supports his parents and respects the family elders, when his speech is gentle and courteous, and he refrains from divisive words, when he strives to remove meanness in truth and vanquishes anger, the Tavatimsa Deva call him truly a superior person. So the Tavatimsa is the heaven of the 33. So they say that when they kind of see this, then they call him a superior person. So when you are taking care of your parents and elders and having right speech and being generous also, then you will be able to gain a lot of merit, which can also take you to the Buddha realm. To the Tavatimsa realm, and be a king of the gods. But the Buddha's teaching is not beyond, goes beyond that teaching which the Sakka he is mentioning. Buddha's teaching it goes beyond that, because he is giving additional precepts, and he is giving additional understanding of how this the universe is impermanence. Even Sakka, the king who is very powerful, has a limited span of life. It may be in billions of years from our perspective, or billions of years. But that billions or millions of years is also impermanent. It also gets over. And it is also dukkha, because even when Tavatamsa Deva is there, he has fights with the asuras, and he has to be afraid of giving conquered in battle. He has to be afraid of the things which is there. He gets jealous. He makes bigger palaces than the previous gods, and then he has fights for supremacy also. So then there are many things which he does not understand about the life, and then he creates dukkha for himself when he is a deva of the Tavatimsa. One story is goes that when Moggallana went to see Moggallana or Sariputta, I am not remembering correctly, but one of them had gone to see the Sakka. And Sakka showed him, oh, this big palace, and and he was just giving him all the description of this palace. I have made this for myself and everything. Then he understood that there is a lot of pride coming in the mind of the Sakka, the Deva king. So what they did, he just pressed his toe, and then the whole palace started shaking. Then the Sakka realized, oh, I am speaking to a great ascetic, and I'm getting pride in my mind. And then then he understood that, and he bowed down and apologized to the monk. So now that is how you can see that there are many aspects which are very human in the devas also, and they don't understand the impersonality of it. So they don't understand the impermanence, the dukkha, and the impersonality or anatha aspects of this life, and then they are still better and more. And when they are caught up in that cycle, they are not away from these things. That's the reason following the Buddha's teaching, following the meditation will give you greater attainment. That attainment is understanding, being the the greater attainment, and then being a king of the gods is the understanding. Because when you understand, then you will not repeat your mistakes. When you are not repeating your mistake, you are with your past, your connection is broken, and you are creating a new future. That's the reason the Buddha says, even if you are a Sotapanna in 7 lifetimes, you will gain complete understanding, and because you have found a path. Now, when you have found the path, then this path will take you. One other example the Buddha gives is, if you are in a stream, you fall in a stream. That stream goes and then goes into, say, maybe a pond, and that pond is connected to a lake, and that lake is connected to a river, and the river is connected to the ocean. So ultimately, you will reach the ocean. So in the same way, when you are a Sotapanna, as you go along, you will gain more and more. The Buddha says that even if you are very in the life. So that is a very important statement the Buddha is giving. That even if a Sotapanna is heedless, he will not see the 8th life. So that is what we have to see, that we are what we are doing is a higher training than the Sakka was taking up. But all the advice in this training is good. Take care of your parents, take care of your elders, be gentle in the speech, be generous, don't lie, and don't use divisive speech, and be generous in your life. One of the foundations of becoming a Sotapanna is being generous, and also uh, following the 5 precepts. The Buddha says that you can consider yourself a Sotapanna. So there's a sutta where some members of the king who are the servants of the king come to the Buddha and say that we follow this precept so well, and we are also generous. So the Buddha says that as you are generous and you follow the precepts, you can consider yourself as Sotapanna. So being generous is also very important in the path of the Buddha. So this is what the Buddha was talking about, the journey of Sakka to from a human to a king of the gods. So if there are any questions, I'm open for questions. Any questions? No questions today. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. I thought I'd give other people opportunity first. So just to summarize very quickly into 3 categories, let's say the sutta is about like taking care of our parents and elders. That's one. The precepts and removing anger, or if anger arises, removing. I'm just like, if we want to summarize it into 3 categories, that's the
And generosity.
Oh, and generosity. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so then my question also is, I'm just curious whether Sakka practice these 7 uh, practices in one life or multiple lives, and because of the
In one
multiple
life.
in one life.
So because this is one life, he practiced this thing, and he kind of gained this attainment. So the Buddha is saying that even one life, if you practice this, Tavatimsa Deva Loka was created because of the 33 people who had decided to keep the 4 precepts. So they had kept the four precepts: not to kill, not to steal, not to be disloyal to your partner, and right speech. And they had accumulated so much merit that they had to create a new heaven for them. That's the reason it is the original occupants of this heaven was 33, and the leader of that group was the Sakka.
Ah,
So when they passed away, they went to a heaven which was specially created. The origin story of the heaven itself is based on the keeping of the precepts.
so then I'm
But
just
they were not
wondering,
keeping the five precepts,
uh,
they were keeping four precepts.
uh, okay. Then I'm kind of, uh, again, just out of curiosity, whether they practice these during the time of a Buddha's dispensation or outside of that, because I'm thinking there's a
Outside of
difference.
Buddha's dispensation. That's the reason they did not know. The outside of Buddha's
Ah,
dispensation, they did not know about the fifth
uh,
precept.
outside means during that time there's no
If they had
Buddha.
known about the fifth precepts, and there's no Buddha.
Mm,
Yeah.
so how they come to develop this? I mean, like nobody, there's no Buddha to pass down the, yeah. So how
Yeah,
they
so four precepts were there in the Indian society forever. So it was always the four precepts. When the Buddha's era goes, this fifth precept also goes. You see that this fifth precept is also going in our circle also. So there is one of the students of Bhante Vimalam. He says, "Oh, this precept is not so strict. It is for the monks not to kind of have, but humans can have a little bit of wine. I don't want to offend anybody." And like the most popular person in America currently, Donald Trump does not drink. So he did not offend anybody in his life, maybe because see, by not drinking, he did a lot of things, but not drinking is not offense somebody. So that is an argument which is very kind of weak. But now they are making that argument that, oh, we can have a little bit which is there, and it is okay. I think if it is there in fruits, say there are certain fruits which are eaten have a little bit of alcohol in them. There are certain preparations like they prepare something with wine, so the alcohol is evaporated for the flavor. There is rum is put in cake to give it flavor. But it is baked and the wine goes away. So that is something of that is also okay, because we are not being prudes in that sense. The Buddha is saying practically, if you have it in a medicine, so a cough medicine, there is alcohol. If you have it in a cough medicine, Buddha says it's okay. It's medicinal. It is done to kind of relieve a symptom. It is okay. So we are not being prudes with the alcohol, but we are being practical. Yes.
Mm. But Bante
Yes.
question, so even if someone takes that, I think to make sure that person have to be very strong in mindful, right? Because everybody's body, physical body is different. So like for one person, maybe
Correct.
taking some of that rum in the cake is okay. For another person, there might be some effect. So I guess it boils down to each individual has to have that sharp mindfulness to be able to detect at the moment there is a change in the mind to, I don't know, go lock themselves in the room or something. But yeah, still one has to be strong in that, right?
Yeah. So that is correct. The mindfulness that what is the consuming of this is doing to my mind. So that's a very good point which you have made, that each person is different. Somebody may be affected a lot, and somebody may be affected not even a little by the same quantity. So one has to be mindful and be careful in how one kind of deals with those kind of things which are given, the allowances, which we can say allowances which are
Allowances.
there. So use those
Yeah.
allowances very uh, thoughtfully.
But I think other than for medicine,
Like
it's
medicine.
probably medicine, yeah. But other than medicine, probably on the safe side, you know, to avoid risk. Probably just avoid it just to be safe kind of thing, because we never
Yeah,
know.
so one has to decide for oneself with the wisdom they have. The general principle is that one uses their wisdom. For monks, definitely they we are very, and then they would be not having those chocolates which are kind of wine chocolates or something like that. They would be really not be consuming that, and they would be very careful with the food also. So that is
Mm.
okay. But for a layperson, he can use his wisdom to choose the correct path. So Buddha is giving a lot of kind of freedom also to the people, but you have to use that freedom with wisdom.
Yeah, with wisdom and I think mm, with a lot of compassion, with wisdom and with compassion. That means in every situation, we have to see that situation at that present moment, given the conditions that arise, and then use the wisdom and the compassion to make the decision, I think.
Correct.
Mm,
That is very well put. Yes. You have to use the
okay.
compassion and see the situation. Each situation is different,
Mm.
and in that situation, one has to make the action.
Yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
Bhante.
Any more
Mm.
questions? Jay, you have any questions? Okay. So, okay, then we'll share the merits. It was a short talk, but I'm also busy. We are kind of doing a lot over here, and it's going well. We have a small group in Goa. It is about, I think, 23 people currently. We started with a few people who were there for a short time. One or two dropped out, which happens in any every retreat. So that is a very nice and small. And this center is really good. Well-made center. It is recently renovated, and they are very generous people. The Catholic Bishop's house. We are in a Catholic Bishop's conference house, but they are very generous. They are a kind of a example of a kind of grace and kindness. We are very kind of new to these things, and we are making a lot of rookie mistakes and all those things, but they were kind of very say a discount without asking us, without us asking, and they were very kind of kind and very accommodating. So it's a very nice place to be in such a place. Not that you have to kind of walk on eggshells. That is not the case. So it's a very quieter space. This is the quietest retreat center I have been till now. Even in Deer Park, there's a lot of noise. In Kalimpong, there's a lot of they are near to the road, and then you can see a lot of because you can hear a lot of that in Goa. So hopefully we can come back over here and we can invite more people. So this was a retreat the first time with the contribution of the participants. So we had 7 or 8 sponsored, but rest of the participant paid for their stay and accommodation and everything. So I think we broke even in this retreat. I have to just see how much, but we'll not be losing a lot of money over here like other retreats. So it was a nice experience also. So we'll hope this continues. So, and we'll share the merits and include
Where,
the
Sir Venerable
fathers. Yes,
Reverend, where is this
yes.
retreat? Where is this retreat?
This is in Goa, South Goa, Benelium, South Goa.
Thank you.
Okay, then we'll share the word. May suffering once be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, Devas and Nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensations. So we hope to see you